My name is Ethan Bishop, and I was 3 hours from retirement when the Cold Harbor got ambushed. 22 years in the United States Deep Space Fleet. 22 years of convoy runs, border patrols, and paperwork so boring it could put a caffeine addict to sleep. I was supposed to hand off my post at Waypoint Relay 9, catch a transport home to Nevada, and spend the rest of my life teaching my granddaughter how to fish. Instead, I was standing on the bridge of a beat-up cargo escort when 4 alien warships dropped out of hyperspace and boxed us in like we were nothing. The Voth Compact. We'd heard of them. A coalition of 3 species who'd been quietly annexing the outer trade routes for a decade. Nobody in Earth's fleet had fought them directly. There'd been incidents. Ships that vanished. Colonies that stopped answering hails. But nothing official. Nothing declared. Until that day. Their lead vessel hailed us immediately, and the translator crackled to life. The voice on the other end was smug, unhurried, the tone of something that had done this 100 times before and expected the 101st to go exactly the same way. Human vessel. You are outnumbered and outgunned. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Resist and you will be destroyed. I remember looking at my crew. 6 of us on that bridge. Petty Officer Dana Marsh, 26 years old, hands steady on the comms console even though her face had gone pale. Chief Engineer Lewis Grant, a barrel-chested man from Georgia who'd fixed that ship's engine with duct tape and stubbornness more times than I could count. And my second-in-command, Lieutenant Commander Renee Ashford, who looked at me like she already knew what I was going to say. "Captain," she said quietly, "we've got maybe a third of their firepower. If we fight, we die." "Maybe," I said. "But we're not cargo, and I'm not spending my last day in this uniform on my knees." I keyed the comm. "This is Captain Ethan Bishop of the ESS Cold Harbor. We are a civilian escort vessel under the United States Registry. We are not a threat to you, and we are not going to surrender." The alien commander actually laughed. I heard it translated through the system, this wet rattling sound of amusement. "Humans," it said. So predictably foolish. "Very well. Ready your grave." Here's the thing they didn't know. The thing nobody outside our own fleet command really understood yet because we hadn't needed to use it. 6 months earlier, Earth had finished retrofitting a dozen supposedly obsolete cargo escorts, ships exactly like the Cold Harbor, with a new reactor architecture designed by a small team out of a research yard in Texas. Officially, it was a fuel efficiency upgrade. Unofficially, it let ships like mine push power through weapon systems at output levels no alien scanner on record had ever seen from a vessel our size. We called it the Bishop Protocol not because I designed it, Lord knows I can barely program a coffee maker, but because I was the first captain fool enough or lucky enough to actually field test it in combat. "Lewis," I said, "spin up the reactor. Full output. Weapons priority." "Captain, that's never been tested outside simulation." "Well, Chief, today's a hell of a day to find out if the simulation was right." He didn't hesitate again. His hands flew across the console, and I felt the ship groan beneath us, a deep shudder like the whole hull was waking up. The lead Voth ship opened fire first, 3 plasma lances arcing toward our port side. Renee threw us into a hard roll, and I felt my stomach drop as the shot screamed past close enough to rattle the windows. Our shields held barely. "Dana, targeting a solution on their lead ship's engine cluster," I said. "Lewis, give me everything. Reactors at 90% and climbing, Captain. She's never run this hot. She'll hold." I didn't know that. I want to be honest about that. I didn't know if she'd hold. But I'd flown with that engineer for 11 years, and I trusted him more than I trusted the manual. We fired. What came out of the Cold Harbor's cannons wasn't the modest defensive fire the Voth had scanned us for. It was a beam of concentrated energy that tore straight through their lead ship's engine housing like it was tissue paper. The explosion lit up the black in a bloom of white and orange, and for 1 full second, the alien channel went dead silent. Then chaos. The other 3 ships broke formation, scrambling to reposition, firing wild. Renee danced us between their shots with a precision that still gives me chills to think about. She trained for this her whole career and never once gotten to prove it, and here she was proving it with our lives on the line. Dana called out targeting solutions faster than I could process them. Lewis kept that reactor screaming past every safety threshold in the manual, sweat pouring down his face, muttering, "Come on, girl. Come on," like he was talking a spooked horse through a storm. We took the second ship out with a spread that clipped its weapons array and sent it spinning, dead in the water. The third tried to flee. We didn't let it. Dana's targeting was too good, and one clean shot crippled its drive core. That left one ship. The one that had laughed at us. I opened the channel myself this time. "This is Captain Bishop. You said resist and we'd be destroyed. I'm going to give you exactly one chance that you didn't give us. Power down, or you're joining your friends." There was a long pause. Then the alien voice came back, and it didn't sound smug anymore. It sounded like something that had just watched its whole understanding of the universe crack down the middle. "Acknowledged. Powering down. We took them into custody." Fleet Command arrived 4 hours later to find one destroyed vessel, 2 crippled and 1 surrendered, all courtesy of a civilian escort that wasn't supposed to be capable of any of it. They gave me a medal I never asked for and offered me a promotion I turned down. I'd already decided a long time ago that Nevada, my granddaughter, and a fishing rod were waiting for me, and nothing, not glory, not history books, not the president himself, was going to talk me out of that retirement a second time. But I think about that Voth commander sometimes. The way its voice changed in that last transmission. Like it had learned, in the span of about 4 minutes, exactly what humanity's version of surrender actually meant. We don't kneel easily. And God help anyone who mistakes that for weakness.